Ring-a-ding-ding. Good ding-dong. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? It's Thursday night. It's the Manchester United agenda. It's a Fulham preview, and I'm joined by two of my favourite boys in the world, OMONDI and Stefan. Stefan, how are you? Give me some philosophy.
I'm good, man. Honestly, I'm good. I'm looking forward to a good show tonight, obviously. Looking forward to hopefully what's going to be a decent performance on Saturday. And yeah, I mean, let's get into it.
OMONDI, you've dressed up as Milli Vanilli again.
Yeah, I like the look. As I was saying earlier, I like the 80s look. I'm getting praised for it by you guys on the show and people in the comments as well. So yeah, I'll be Milli Vanilli tonight, Matthew.
Cheers. I do think it's a good look for you, OMONDI. You remind me a little bit of, do you know the Honey Monster when he sort of dresses up like all street? That's what you remind me of.
Are you in on this?
I'm not in this. No. This is blind reaction. This is blind reaction, OMONDI. Don't cry.
Good one. I like it. Very funny part time.
Thank you. All right. We're going to check who got in the house. It's my favourite CPR man. It's Solo, bigging everyone up. I hope you're doing well, Solo. I'd love to know your thoughts on Ratcliffe, Solo. You've turned into the most negative Nancy ever since the positive days of being on the channel. That's what joining the fuzz does for you. So I'd love to know how you're feeling. And also someone else that I'd love to know how he's feeling is Jeff Vesco. Big up, Jeff. I hope that your knee operation went well today. We're all thinking of you here at the United Agenda. And all the way from Miami, it's DK Wilson saying, big up, guys. He gets around a lot. You got Andrew. He's experimenting with different languages. Ale, vamos. And we deserve better. Ding dong. Hello, we deserve better. I hope you're doing well. Andrew is just laughing at stuff. Has anyone seen the film Four Lions? I have seen the film Four Lions. I don't understand the reference though. And Milli Vanilli, you look more like Captain Sensible.
That's a good one.
Who's that?
Do you remember the 80s? Captain Sensible? He's a pop star. Captain Sensible. He used to wear, I think he must have wore a bandana as well and a jean jacket. Oh my God.
There was an 80s pop star called Captain Sensible.
Yes, Captain Sensible, man, from the 80s. Wow, that's funny. Who's that? We deserve better. You're adding to the list. We deserve better. I need to get you back for that. It's 1-0 right now. Half time is about 10-0 up on me in a moment. But you're 1-0 up.
Yeah, it's nice to see that you keep scores, OMONDI.
Oh, I do. You hold a grudge, do you? I hold a grudge as well.
Oh, I hold the grudge. I've got Excel databases of the grudges. Got to make sure that they're all properly sorted out. Right, Stefan, we haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. We've had a lot going on with Jim Ratcliffe officially getting 27-point-something% in the club. How are you feeling at the moment?
I would say broadly positive. I think at the minute it's a lot of talk until we see tangible action taken. I think getting the CEO done pretty early is a good sign of that. I think the move for Ashworth seems to be going in the right direction. So I think we're, as he put it in his interview, we are walking in the right direction instead of jumping to conclusions. So I'm a fan of that, and I think that's a better approach. I don't think jumping from left to right like we have been doing for 10 years has worked. So let's try a sensible approach. And yeah, I mean, cautiously optimistic. I think that's where we'll put it for now.
Don't say sensible. Write out comments on there, please, Steph.
He's left it up purposely.
Yeah, no, I've taken it off. Look, you can have a little smiley face from We Deserve Better. I'm massively I'm not cautiously optimistic. I've just jumped full feet forwards. I'm well behind all of the things that we're seeing, except for the appointment of one person in particular. But I think it's really, really exciting times, and I'm also quite pleased to see Ratcliffe calling out the UK government for not having a stadium for people to spectate sport in the north. I quite like this level of pressure that he's putting on everyone. But speaking of pressure, we got Fulham coming up at the weekend. We're going to go through the stats and all that kind of stuff. But before we get into the stats, I want initial feelings on if it's an easy game, if this is a banana skin, like all these kind of things. So, OMONDI, we'll start off with you.
Well, yeah, look, I looked at the fixture list a few weeks ago and I thought, wow, we can get like a lot of points here. I know we've got Man City, but amongst it, we've got Luton and we've got Fulham and a couple other teams that I think are beatable. But one thing, I have to give respect to the Premier League. Every team can win on their day. There was a spell about a month or two ago when Fulham went 5-0, 5-0, I think, against teams. We're looking really hot and spicy. And then they sort of drop off. It always levels up with the Premier League, and Fulham are kind of being mid-table. I did a little research a few days ago, actually, and I looked up their honours, and it's always about championship winners and second division winners and no big trophies. Don't think they've won an FA Cup. Don't think they've won a League Cup for a long time. They won the Intertoto Cup, I think, in a few years ago. And remember, they got to the final and thing. So I look at Fulham and I think there's a lot of arguments going on at the moment. I look at them and I think to myself, wow, what can you expect from Fulham Football Club? You go to their stadium, BATHTIME. I know it really well. I live quite near to Fulham as well. You can't expand on it because you're right by the river. You don't want to break it down. It's a really good stadium. It's old school stadium, proper. One of the originals, you know. Mm-hmm. And the expectation, if you're running that club, are you doing it like we've got ownership change right now? And we were having a great discussion the other day about what do these guys want? They're not going to make money from football. I don't think you can make money out of football. But you're going to get success and growth, and the success is based on what you achieve in the football pitch. I think with Fulham, you can sort of level up by being mid-table. Crystal Palace level up by being mid-table. That's success, I imagine, by then. Everything's relative, isn't it? So I think Fulham, really, with their honours list, being in mid-table of the Premier League, they've not always been a Premiership team. They're punching right now, and with the side they've got, with a few good players, I think they're capable of whooping some ass from time to time. But where we're heading, we're at the crunch stage of the season now. I do look at this game, as the title says, as an easy win, not a banana skin. That rhymes, doesn't it?
All right. First of all, OMONDI, what is the Intertoto Cup?
So this was a cup. Maybe you can help me out, Stefan. Let's double up on BATHTIME in this answer. The Intertoto Cup was a cup. They keep changing the format, didn't they? Remember, there was UEFA Cup, Cup Winners' Cup, and the Champions League. And the Inter weaker clubs that, like the Europa League now, with mass lot of teams in that, to give them an opportunity. So I think they would start it maybe early in the season. So pre-season starts maybe July. That's when they would start the Intertoto Cup, and it would sort of go on. Maybe I'm wrong. Step in, Stefan, if I'm
I think you might be right. I feel like it was like a precursor almost to the Conference League. Obviously, Conference League, it's kind of like for the teams that are maybe slightly below a Europa League level. So maybe I do think you're onto something there, OMONDI. I think you're pretty spot on. I think it was like early season as well. But I think it's slightly before my time. I don't really remember it being a thing, but I've definitely heard of it. And I think it is kind of the precursor to the Conference League kind of setup. So
what was the one where, was there one called the Anglo-Italian Cup or something?
Fairs Cup. There was a Fairs Cup, which I think Newcastle won that in the early 70s. That was done away with. But I don't know about the Anglo-Italian Cup. Maybe that's from your Welsh Farmers League. I don't know where you've done that one from.
All right. I want to bring up some comments before I come to you, Stefan. And I'm not bringing up Andrew's libelous one about Tony Can, but I am bringing up how they're doing well with that ownership. Is baffling because previously OMONDI referenced why do you get into owning a football club? And I think that one of the most high-profile Fulham owners was Al Fayed, who he owned Harrods for a period. Massive showman, and I believe he did it to get a passport, didn't he?
Yeah, British credibility.
I think so.
Which is, crazy. So, look, Stefan, tell me about Fulham and other minor European cup competitions that you're aware of?
Well, look, I was watching. It must have been a couple of months ago because like a video, it's like one of the call-in sessions from TalkSport, and they had some Fulham fans on. I think they're kind of a club going through a bit of an identity crisis at the minute because I feel like there is a lot of working class roots within the club. A lot of their fans felt that ticket prices were starting to get unaffordable. I do think Tony Khan had something to do with recruitment at one point pretty recently. I think he might have stepped back from that role, but there's always the accusation from Fulham fans in general that he was more interested in his pro wrestling company than he was the football club. But I think you are broadly
Wrestling
kind of
company.
yeah.
What's this?
All Elite Wrestling. It's on ITV4. AEW. There we go. Amanda knows it. So there was that kind of accusation level against them at a time, but I think it's interesting. There's parallels between what Fulham fans are feeling. I think Crystal Palace fans are pretty they're feeling discontent as well. I think they're kind of saying, what are we meant to be? Are we just perennial 12th place clubs? Is top half of the league a success? Like, there doesn't seem to have been that ambition that you've seen at like Aston Villa and clubs like that to take the next step up to try compete, even if it is Conference League or Europa League. So I think they've kind of had a little bit of an identity crisis, Fulham fans. I do feel like there is a bit of discontent there, and I think it's interesting, like, because obviously we as a fan base, we have our own struggles and our own issues with how the club's been run, but it is pretty universal. There's not too many football fans out there particularly happy with their ownership model. So, yeah.
Well, we got some good news. We got Jeff saying surgery went as well as could be. Lots of pain today, but you're making laugh helps. Good stuff, Jeff. Don't get addicted to painkillers, please. Could be a real issue for a lot of people. Andrew's off on one about this wrestling thing. He writes TV programs and stuff. I was going to say something about Fulham. This is what I was going to say about Fulham, is that I think a lot of clubs in the Premier League are kind of stuck. They lack inertia. It's like whether you sort of like it costs, I think I saw 120 million per place in the Premier League. So if you want to go up one place, you've got to spend 120 more million than the person above you, which is crazy. But I think a lot of people always sort of big up Brighton as a club that you should look at and things, which I completely disagree with. They're just like Borussia Dortmund. They've got no ambition. They just sell their best players. Look at someone like, if you're Fulham, I think you should be looking at someone like West Ham, who have got a massive new stadium and have won a trophy in European football, and have given their fans a season to remember. I think that's like, for the smaller clubs in the Premier League, that would be what I would be looking at, is like identifying a competition and going for it rather than worrying about your balance sheet and stuff. And Andrew's already saying that this is a pathetic take. We should be increasing the bank balance, not looking for trophies. Right. With that in mind, I've got some stuff about Fulham. Okay. First of all, Stefan, you like your tactics, don't you?
I do, yes. I would be known to be a fan.
All right. So Fulham are using a 4-3-2-1, mainly. Obviously, formations change during a match. And they attack basically exactly the same down both flanks, and you don't get a lot in the middle. What problems do you think that this could pose for Man United, or what could we exploit from this formation?
Well, before I came on the show, I was doing a little bit of research, and I was watching quite a few of the recent goals that Fulham have been conceding. I think one thing I've noticed is that they tend to struggle with ball carrying from central areas, which is an area we're practically non-existent in the first place, which isn't the best of signs. But look, these guys have kind of given us a difficult run in the last couple of matches. We just about beat them at Craven Cottage earlier in the season. I think Bruno scored 91st minute there. Last season at Craven Cottage, it took a very late Garnacho goal to beat them as well. So they can cause us problems. it's an interesting type of system that do play because typically their left centre mid will drop back to support Paulinho out as well. Paulinho's a very aggressive player, but you can sometimes exploit that as well if he's over aggressive and jumps in to situations. But
he's suspended.
He's suspended. Sorry, I must have missed. Well, if so, and that's probably a good thing for us, regardless, because he would have been initiated bypassing that midfield. Willian's having a pretty decent season. Yeah. I think their top goal scorers Dacre over Reed on the right hand side, which with our lack of left back might pose an issue. But yeah, look, they'll come with their own dangers. I think I would actually like a study to be done into this. Whenever former players come up against their old team, they always seem to play well. So I'm looking at Andres Pereira thinking, is he going to drop a 10 out of 10 on us? But
it's not pre-season.
Yeah, I know. It isn't. But yeah, look, he's got decent set-piece delivery. He's pretty good from dead balls as well. We struggle in terms of volume of set-piece chances conceded, in terms of goals as well. So they'll cause us one or two problems. Like, it won't be a walk in the park. We don't make anything a walk in the park either. Even if we do go 2-0 up after 7 minutes, we still somehow end up in the back foot for the rest of the 90. But I'm positive that we can cause them more problems than they'll cause us, and it's just about how we manage that there. And ultimately, hopefully, we can see this game out.
Okay, just a quick follow-up. You talked about ball carriers in the midfield is an issue for both teams. Why do we want someone to carry the ball in the middle of the park?
I think it just helps with the actual press that Fulham will bring, because they will press us. It's kind of like a mid-block press. I think the lack of ball carriers we do have concerns me. I think Bruno doesn't really do it. I think Manu's good at it. It depends on what kind of setup we go for. If Manu's at number 8, which we do expect, he will be able to do some carries throughout the middle of the pitch. Obviously, it's about finding him in space. He'll probably drop a shoulder, move into that space. It's just about bypassing their initial press that they will bring in the middle of the pitch. 3 midfielders will help them do that. So I would expect to see Kearney in there. I would expect to see Andres Pereira in there. They'll work hard in that middle pitch. And it's just about how we bypass that there. And I think ball carrying is a very useful tool to have in that. Looking at the goals they've conceded recently, they do leave spaces, and their high line can be exploited as well. So it's definitely an area for success. Just attack the space. It's going to be there. It'll either be behind their back 4 or slightly in front of their back 4, depending on the situation we find ourselves in. And it's just about exploiting that.
All right. OMONDI. You've seen what I've written on the screen. You've heard what Stefan has got to say. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts on Fulham as a footballing side?
Do you want to say, Stefan, man, big up, bro. You got a lot of you put on the spot there, ask some questions about it, and I thought, oh god, you're gonna start to here, but you know your football for sure. Big up, bro. That's respect due from me to you. Playing the high line, that's something that stood out to me. Aggressive offside trap. I've seen a lot of teams like, is it Spurs play that high line these days? It's very risky, isn't it? And you have to be very organised and not have the right personnel and someone communicating in there as well. I don't know what their goal record's like of conceding, but if they're going to do that at Old Trafford, for example, I don't think it's going to be wise. I think in this game at Old Trafford, they'd be ideal for them to come out with a draw or something like that. So I can't imagine they'd be doing that against us unless that's the tactic, and that's how they want to play, and be brave. I don't see it though. I don't see it. So if they do that, you're playing against a team with someone like Garnacho and Rashford. Obviously, you can run into the spacing behind the defence, and that's how we do score a lot of goals on the transition in that way. So I take about above average amount of long shots. I think sometimes that's down to frustration. If you're a team that can play through teams, you don't need to do that. Long shots, I mean, you have to score a worldie. If you're set up well and someone scores a worldie, you're like, well, it's just so big.
We do have an Nana. We do have an Nana.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I've included that.
But so I think if you are taking long shots, I think it's not a case of, oh, that makes you a good team. I just think it's when you're trying to break a team down, you get frustrated sometimes, and you have lots of long shots. It usually goes over the bar, and everyone whistles, and you get the ball and have a goal kick again. But I think a team that takes a lot of long shots suggests to me they're struggling to break teams down. When they had their hot patch, I felt they were on it. I think sometimes teams click like that throughout the Premier League, and where everything just goes right, and you smash teams, and they've done that, and that raised an eyebrow for me. I was like, okay, what's going on here? I want to say big up to Reed as well, Jamaican international. A guy I know called Nicky, that's his brother, Nicky Reed.
Do you know his sister?
I don't know his sister, no.
Okay, I've got a fun fact about his sister later.
Okay, well, the Reed family, there's a lot of them. We kind of communicate with them quite often every day. And Nicky, the brother, is a cool guy. He's a Man United fan. And that's his brother. And he's done really well. He's come from Bristol City, got signed up. And I think he's an outstanding player. He just doesn't seem to get talked about a lot as a quality player. And when Stefan mentioned that he's one of the top goal scorers, I thought, well done. Because he deserves his flowers. He's playing for Jamaica right now. They could qualify. They're doing pretty well. So I think it's players like that where Fulham have to sort of sign. They got Pierre Pereira, our former pre-season prelo as well. So they've got a few good players. And I like their left back, Robinson. He's got a lot of, for his fitness, he seems like he's a very fit player. He gets up and down. And if that's their width as well, then so be it. But I just don't see enough there, to be honest. I'm thinking about it now. I would really feel threatened, especially at Old Trafford.
Okay, well, let's have a look at some comments because I'm getting it in the comments. First of all, Andrew is saying it's an idiotic take to say that people should respect West Ham more than Brighton. We Deserve Better has been on Google, I think, and he's found out that West Ham won the Intertoto Cup in '99, Fulham in 2002, Newcastle in 2006. Is this correct?
I don't know, but what's not correct is spelling. Go back to that. He spelled full gam. It's full ham, as in ham, the meat. I don't know if you guys eat swine or pork or anything like that.
Not this on Monday, please.
You guys remember the Tesco horse meat scandal?
Yes.
Yes.
Delicious.
Well, I just heard that B&Q. I just heard would.
Come on.
I just heard that. I can't finish the joke. It's too funny.
Come on. We've heard all the bad ones. Give us the good one.
Do you remember the Tesco horse meat scandal, guys?
Yes.
Well, yes. I just heard that B&Q wooden flooring has laminate.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad, Amanda. Laminate. I like that one.
Oh, God. Sorry. I love that.
You come up with that all by yourself. Is that why your eyes lit up when you saw Fulham misspelled?
Oh,
all right. We Deserve Better saying Jimenez and Wilson might start playing ball again. Jimenez, no. Wilson, possibly. And we got Andrew. Come on, then. He's done all this. So we might as well read it. Brighton carry 30 million in debt, for which a club that only generated 150 million a year in revenue is a lot. So Darius was talking about his arse earlier. We Deserve Better is saying they're really poor at scoring. This is true. We're coming to this. We Deserve Better. There's so much stuff that's getting mentioned that is all preempting what I've done. So it's really good that people are sort of on the ball. United fans with $1 billion sitting in judgment of a team that was nearly bust 15 years ago. Absolutely ridiculous, clownish behaviour. But it's fun and easy, Andrew, which is why we do it. Look at bloody Jeff. He's brought up another person that I'm profiling, which is Robinson, who we'll take a look at later. And We Deserve Better is enjoying, he's laughing and then he's confused, then he's laughing again at your jokes, Amonde. Right, let's move on. Stefan, Fulham are in absolutely dreadful form at the moment. They've only one victory in the last 6 games. That has been 3 draws, 2 losses, 1 once, conceded 8, scored 7. They're 12th on the table with 29 points, 34 goals scored, 40 once against, -7 goal difference. Is this promising for us?
Yeah. I would look. What I would say about Fulham is, and for a lot of the teams in that kind of area of the table, kind of like 12th, 13th, 14th, they're consistently inconsistent. So they could turn up with a decent performance. I think OMONDI said earlier they went back-to-back 5-0s about December kind of time. And then obviously it's been poor since then. They will come and cause us issues. I think they caused Villa a couple of issues last week. And I think it's just about how we approach the game. I think the onus will be on us to go out there and beat Fulham. I think that's the expectation. And really, this is a match we should be winning. I think the next league match after this is City away. So you look at that, you look at this, and you're saying, look, this is probably must win. We could easily go to the Etihad and lose. So I think that has to be the game plan going into this. It's win at all costs, ideally with a good performance. Hopefully we can score some more goals, and hopefully we can do it a lot more in a more assured fashion than we managed against Luton last week. Like that was a match we should have had wrapped up, and I think most teams in around top 4 probably after going 2-0 up after 7 minutes would have seen that match out. We kind of add to our own problems in a lot of ways, but I'm hoping that we've learned the lessons from that match and we can take that into this match against Fulham. Hopefully score a couple of goals, hopefully get 3 points, and then get moving on.
Were you nervous in that match against Luton?
Not going into it, I think I missed like the first 5 minutes. So whenever I turned the TV on, we were 2 up, and I thought, wow, this is going to be really good. It's all clicked. And then all of a sudden, we just went in the back foot. I don't know what happened to us in that sense. Look, we should have scored 3 or 4 goals in that game. We got around the goalkeeper twice and somehow didn't score. Dallo should have scored as well, but I do feel like we caused our own issues for a lot of it, and I'm not sure if it's a mentality thing, if it's a tactical thing, that if we go 1 or 2 goals up, we tend to just sit off it a little bit, but then still play these really quick transitional vertical passes and just give the ball away unnecessarily. I don't know, but I think we just gotta in this one, if we get the league, go 1 or 2 up, just keep it tidy, just keep it clean, and they're going to have to come on to us. There will be space in behind. They already push high up the pitch. We've got runners in Rashford, Garnacho, Hojlund. We've players who can pick them out. So let's just control it that way and just offer that counter-attacking threat if we go a goal or 2 up. And that's pretty much, I think, the game plan going into this, or what it should be anyway.
All right, OMONDI, just before we come to you, we'll just do some comments very quickly. I don't understand this, but we deserve better is singing, saying happy.
Captain
Sorry?
Sensible, that's what he's saying. Happy talk. Talk about things you love to do. No matter one day you will make a dream come true. That's the song. It's about live score update anyway. It was 1-0, now it's 3-0 to We Deserve Better. He's whooping me tonight.
Okay, all right. Well, we've got Dora who's popped in. She's a comedy show tonight. She's saying we are winning this. Andrew's carrying on. I usually destroy him for dissing Newcastle, but he's been a bitch about Brighton tonight. 2 of my least favourite teams in the Premier League, Newcastle and Brighton. And We Deserve Better is... He's got some green hearts. All sorts is going on there. Right, OMONDI. Without breaking into song for at least 2 sentences, what are you thinking about these stats from Fulham? Are they making you more confident, less confident?
I'm thinking about the grammar. Second bullet point down. They've have. Anyway, yeah, it does make me more confident, to be honest, bro. I mean, when you look at that, when teams get to mid-table, it's like they think, right, we've done our work. The players must think this in their mind. We're getting paid good money here. We've got in, like, we're looking down. We've sort of saved from relegation. We've done our thing. Let's just relax now for the rest of the season. You see it a lot with a lot of sides like this, and now they're starting to concede and they're not really on it. I remember, I think it was this season early on, they had got a draw with Arsenal, who were a top side at Emirates. And they were pressing really well, and I think Saka, one of the guys, gave the ball away, and they broke and scored. And I thought, okay, looking good. But it's about levels in it. You got to turn it up. Are they up for the game? If they're up for it and they work hard, then they can, give us a good challenge. But I think the quality will matter, will take, over the 90 minutes. And we've got the quality and we've got the motivation, which is the most important thing. So much good news coming out of the club lately, so much good form. We're unbeaten this year. And when we look at them and we look at all the data, and if you're speculating like bookies do, you'd have to say we're definitely favourites. We're at home. They're not playing too well. I mean, they've drawn 3, lost 2, and won 1. That's not great form, is it? Whereas we are, we smashed that with our winning record at the moment, and the confidence and score lines and the people scoring again. So, 29. I'm just looking at this now. You know what? It's a must win. And if we don't win this game, I'd say, what's the motivation from Fulham? What have they done? What, is it playing at Old Trafford? They want to impress. I think you do that in the early months, the winter months. Now that it's leveling out and they know they're safe, I don't think they've got anything to play for. And if they lose, there's not going to be an inquest for them. But if they go down and lose at Luton or one of the teams below them, that's when they're going to turn it up. And I think they know this are players. You've been part of the team, Bath Time, haven't you? So you know when you need to turn it up. All right, by this stage of the season, I know you've been in title races before and let things slip, but as a unit, as I'm not trying to rub in, but as a unit, you talk after the game, you go and play golf, you go, team up together, you chat, group chat, and who's on it this week. Yeah, we've got to beat this team, but you got to meet your expectations, and I think they cannot expect to come to Old Trafford and get a win, and I think it's all for us to get 3 points again. And just keep us skin and teeth right now because we're so happy as a fan base.
Well, I'm going to try and make you more happy now, Amondo, because I'm going to show you Fulham's away form. I think that Andrew in the comments has been asking quite a lot if it's at Old Trafford. It is at Old Trafford. Fulham have won away from home once this season. They've played 12, won 1, drawn 4, lost 7. Only scored 11 goals, conceded 26. And this was what I found quite interesting, is that they've conceded 4 penalties in away games. So one in every 3. And looking at this, Stefan, this is a must win, isn't it? They're right for the taking here.
Yeah, absolutely must win. I think we can disregard the penalty stat. We couldn't buy a penalty, if we're being honest. But I'm feeling pretty confident in this. The only thing that you might look towards is that Fulham have took 4 points from Arsenal this season, so maybe they can turn up and put in a decent shift against a top team. But those matches were primarily on the transition. They really hurt Arsenal at times, but it just depends how we turn up. I think if we turn up with the right attitude, the right mentality, go out there, try to win that match in the first half, then I think we'll be comfortable enough. It could be one of those matches where if we don't score early and the longer it goes, the more Fulham grow into it, we get a little bit caught up amongst ourselves as well. So some of their strengths will be a danger to us, especially set pieces. But I'm pretty confident about this going into it. I think Fulham will come. If they go a goal or 2 down, then you might find their heads drop. They're just like, look, we've got 29 points this season. This might be enough to be staying up regardless. Obviously, the quality of the bottom half is very poor this season. So I think, look, score early. I think that's going to take care of a lot of our problems.
Monday, this is good reading, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, thinking about Fulham Football Club, we played Luton last week. And Luton have got an identity. They're big and strong. They're physical. And they did really sort of raid and put a little pressure on us, And with that physicality element that they had, whether from set pieces or bullying you in play, I think that's something you remember. You come away from there, a few bumps and bruises. But with Fulham, I think they try and play a nice brand of football. There's nothing do you well when you play away from home in the Premiership. If they're playing a Championship like Burnley last season, playing a nice brand of football, you could walk away with like 100 points maybe, because the quality's there. But when it comes to Premiership, as the away record shows here, they don't have any sort of outstanding attributes, as in, like I was talking about Luton, they survive by physicality. They're not overly physical. They're quite a small side, in my opinion, Fulham. I know they've got the guy in midfield who gets most tackles or whatever. But he's, even so, they're not the physical side like Everton. You'll be worried about set pieces. We'll be talking about pre-match about, we've got to worry about set pieces here. We've got to worry about, but I don't think there's enough to worry about here because they play nice, pretty football. But we're a bigger and better team. It's like the saying in boxing: a good big man will always be a good little man, and they're a good little man. And that's why we're going to thump them up on this.
We're big men.
Yeah, we are big men.
We're big men, Armando.
Of course. And they're little men,
right.
As I was saying.
I got some comments. Andrew's saying you have to make us favourites at Old Trafford, and he's going for 3-1. We deserve better. 4-1 versus full gammon. Andrew's agreeing with someone tonight, which is you, Stefan. They'll roll over. Yeah. And Ed Barrett, I'm happier with our recent form, but I am disturbed by the levels of positivity I'm seeing on this stream. But a 5-0 Hojlund hat trick. And look, it's going to get even more positive now, Ed, because there's some pretty key injuries happening at Fulham. Polina suspended. Jimenez is injured. Tete and Willian, who are two players that I think that I like, are facing late fitness tests. This is all good news, gents, isn't it?
Massive.
Yeah. I mean, I think
who's their biggest miss?
Polina. I think he's just very important to how they play in the middle of the pitch. A lot of tackles, a lot of interceptions. Very busy player. I think suspended for obvious reasons because he is so busy. He will just pick up those cards, but he'll be a big miss for them.
I think he's probably the most overrated player in the Premier League for me, Polina. He's dreadful on the football. He doesn't contribute anything except he reminds me a lot of Wilfred Ndidi, another player that I disliked. I imagine what it's like playing next to him in midfield. And it's very frustrating because he can't play one or two touch. Everything is stuck in between his feet. He's got terrible passing stats. I'm quite surprised at the sort of love-in I see for him across social media. But
I think he's just a player who suits Fulham, though, man, as well. Sorry to cut across, but I do think he's a player who suits what Fulham want from their number 6. But put him in a top team, I don't think he stands out at all.
I disagree. I totally disagree. I mean, yeah, you're doing an eye test. This is your thing. Tune into the eye test Monday nights with bath time. But you're doing eye test bath time. I think what happens these days, a lot of clubs, they do base it on data. And they say, right, okay, we need someone who can intercept the ball and tackle. Let's type in the data and see who's got the best stats for that. And his name always seems to pop up. He's always regarded as one of these guys who, even Stefan said about interceptions and pinching the ball and tackling and yellow cards, whatever. So that's why he's been linked with Bayern Munich. It's no surprise that he's been getting ratings and linked with these top clubs. One, because he's at Fulham and he could be easily have his head turned. And 2, because he's got he comes up in data for what a side might need. So you look at Bayern Munich, they're looking at him because they've got Tuchel there, or Tuchel, what's his name? Thomas Tuchel, or whatever his name is. I know he's a data person. He'd be saying, right, this Bayern thing's not working. I need a guy to pinch the ball in midfield or whatever. And that's why they're looking at him. So there's no surprise to me why he's been touted by clubs right now. I'd have to assess whether he's good on the ball. That's an eye test thing that we have to do. But I'm not surprised when you see all the data why he's getting recommended.
All right, I'll look at some. Oh God! By the way, Andrew is a big fan of Paulinia. So Andrew, so we'll start off with Jeff. He's going for 3-1. Everyone's front running tonight, score predictions and things. Andrew's going to bed in solidarity with small clubs all over the country. Good night, Andrew. We deserve better. Loves Paulinia's surname. You can read that yourself. 85% pass rate. Bruno Fernandes 76. Paulina's number 1 in the whole league in terms of duels in midfield areas. Yeah, all these things are great. I just don't think that he's a very good footballer. I don't like the way he gives the ball, and I don't think that you can build a midfield around someone who's only a destroyer in the modern game. But what have I got next? Look who it is, OMONDI.
Bobby.
Dangerous players. Bobby de Cordova Reed. Omonde might know his brother, but did you know his sister is the Member of Parliament for Battersea?
That's what I'm saying about this family. His brother's really successful. He's really funny guy. Nicky Reed is really funny guy and very successful as well. In what he's very driven. And then you got the footballer brother here, and I didn't know. Well, I probably did know, but I didn't stay with me that his sister's MP for Battersea. So the family, credit to the parents,
Left wingers.
Well, that's Labour then.
Yes, she'll likely be in Keir Starmer's government if he wins the election.
Great? Do you know many families like that have so many successful siblings and or children?
The Kardashians. Joking aside, I think that the Neville family are very successful, aren't they? I
don't know anyone beyond Gary and Phil.
Well, Tracy, I think their sister was the England netball captain or something like that. Wow. So they've got they're all internationals, which is odd. Stefan, either give me successful siblings across politics and sport, or tell me a bit about Bobby Reid.
I'm having a bit of a mind blank. Like I think the Kardashians is just like it just caught me off guard there. But I'll tell you some about Bobby Reid. Obviously, look, 5 goals. I think that is joint top goal scorer for Fulham this season. He can play both sides. I know we've got him listed as a left-sided forward, but he can play on the right as well. So it depends what Marco Silva thinks. If he's looking at it, United's back four, and there's big questions over that left back position, he might put his top goal scorer on that side to face up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, he's a pretty good player. I think doesn't quite get the recognition maybe he deserves, as Amanda had alluded to earlier. And I think, look, 5 goals, 1 assist for a pretty inconsistent Fulham team that sometimes is pretty hot in front of goal, sometimes will go through long cold periods. That's pretty good for a mid-table side. So yeah, look, he'll bring his own set of dangers. It's about how we deal with that. We should be able to manage him fairly effective at the weekend, but yeah, he will definitely cause somewhat of a threat.
Can I just jump in there? Big up to Artie Lee. See the comment there. Go and if you just highlight the comment from Artie Lee here. Big up Artie Lee. Now, guys, a good friend of mine. Go and check out Cop Talk TV because they run that channel, sister channel of ours here, and they go every Thursday night at 10 o'clock. So he's due to be setting up a show right now, and I'll be tuning into that as well because there's very knowledgeable guys on the show, ex-footballers as well, and people. Artie definitely knows the game really well, and so check it out. Cop Talk TV with Artie Lee. That rhymes.
All right. We've also got DK Wilson. He wants 4-1 United. We've got Rajat saying hello, and he's saying that Paulina won't play. You're late, Rajat. This is what happens when you're late. You miss all the key information. And like, look, this is quite cool. We deserve better. Marsha, the Corva's brother, she's his MP. She's tripe though, but she'll still get my vote. So isn't that cool that like the left winger that we're facing at the weekend, that her sister represents We Deserve Better as part of her consistency. Right, next player. We all know who this boy is. It's Andreas Pereira. Stefan, talk to me about the statistical nature of returning players scoring goals.
I'm gonna have to do like an in-depth study on this. I might have to get it published somewhere if possible. But there's definitely a correlation. Anybody we sell who comes back to play us always seems to score. I think it all started with Danny Welbeck, but I can remember Dan James has scored against us, and Andreas Pereira's. There's so many seem just to play well against us. I don't know what it is. We just must light a fire under these guys, and they're just like, I'm gonna go out there and show them. But yeah, look, we all know the preseason Pirlo. He has very good technique. like his highlight reel, if you solely watched an Andreas Pereira highlight reel, maybe like a minute 30 long, you'll be thinking this guy is like one of the best to ever do it. I remember his preseason volley from like 40 yards out. He just caught it and crossbar, and then I think he scored a free kick for us on his debut as well under Louis van Gaal. That's coming back to me, possibly League Cup. But yeah, look, he'll be up for this match. He's got decent set piece delivery. He's pretty good from a dead ball. He will try a lot of things. A lot of things might not come off, but he will keep going. And it's just about how we keep a wrap on him, really. Like, he will be in that kind of attacking midfield zone. So it's going to be up to Casemiro, who obviously has struggled in recent weeks to deal with that as well. So he could be a player who has an influence on what Fulham do going forward, but it's about how we manage him as well. Like, he shouldn't be anything we haven't seen before.
Omondi, did we let Andy Pereira go too soon?
No, I watched his game, and I don't think he was ever going to be a regular starter for us. So we have to let him go. He's a good player, just a good player. I don't think he's outstanding at anything, and that's why he's not going to be elite, and that's why he's not going to stay at Man United. But 1 goal, 5 assists. He's sort of, you would class him as sort of a creative player, and he's getting regular football in the Premier League. So fair play to him. That's all I can say, really. I can't really.
Fair enough.
Obviously, he's better than me, and he's a professional. He's made it, so I can't disrespect him. I can't say, oh, he's shit like some people do, go around to cussing players that play in the Premier League and play pro football. This guy's a good player. He's worked hard. He's got a good career. So fair play to him.
Yeah, I think Stefan was talking about his spectacular goals. I think that one of the goals he scored for United ended up being our goal of the season, and he only scored 2. It might have been
Southampton.
Is it Southampton? Yes, it was. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I've got a player on here that Jeff mentioned earlier, which is Anthony Robinson, who is a USA from Milton Keynes. I think that this is actually a really good player and possibly someone that we should look at for the summer. Do any of you know him, or has he been on the radar of anyone?
Yeah. Most certainly. I spoke about him earlier in the show, saying about him, the left back. He gets up and down, very athletic, and you need to have that in the Premier League these days. He's always impressed me when I've watched him play, even not just against us, but against like other sides. I've watched the Arsenal game in particular. I watched that one, and I was thinking, wow, this guy can get up and down. He's strong and athletic. He looks like Ernie and Bert in Sesame Street with the little hair.
Yeah, he's got a very elongated head, hasn't he?
Yeah. Just needs to. When he next time goes to the barbers, take a picture of Bert and get that hairstyle. Fair play to him. USA international. I just want to say what I've noticed lately in football. You get a lot of American players, more so than before, coming into the league. I know we had some top ones before, like especially at Fulham. Fulham had. Can anyone in the comments remind me who the Fulham player was? American player who was sort of a forward stroke attacking midfielder. He was amazing. But yeah, so a lot of Americans coming into the.
Is it Beasley?
Not Beasley. No, it was.
Was it Clint Dempsey?
Clint Dempsey. That's
yes. Clint Dempsey. Yes.
I thought he was talented. I thought he was really good. But as I'm saying about American players, it's good to see them getting in and about the top leagues of Europe, and it shows the investment they're doing in America right now, and also Asian players, like Oriental players. Everywhere I go, I was watching some highlights the other day or some Champions League football, and there was a winger, and I thought, oh God, he's got the same. He shoots with both feet, drives, good, hard-working player. These guys are starting to get into the leagues now. And they say football's international, isn't it? And I think you're going to have to start, putting respect down, and especially America, because I never thought Americans would really turn over, because they're sort of bombarded over there with like their home-based sports, baseball, football, basketball. So to see these players start to come through in the Premier League, and as Bath Times, actually this guy's made Bath Times list. That's everything. It just says it all that he's made it. Look at him. But like I say, he definitely needs to go and get that Bert Sesame Street haircut close to it.
Let's just look at some quick comments before I come to you, Stefan. First of all, Amondo, did you say Cop Talk TV?
KOP Cop Talk is a Liverpool channel. Yeah. And I know I shouldn't say that, it's blasphemy, but it's a good. They're part of our sister channel to us.
We Deserve Better is bigging up Andrea's hairstyle and says that Garnacho and Rashford should take note on how to dye your hair correctly. DK Wilson is just giving us some thumbs up, which we always like. I know him. Very fast, tough, and smart. He's easily one of our top players. Obviously, DK Wilson is from Miami, so he's talking as an American here, not as a Fulham fan. And We Deserve Better is saying Casey Keller also played for Fulham.
Oh, yeah. And they had an American striker, another American striker at one point.
Did Lando Donovan play for Fulham?
I think he had Everton on loan a couple of times.
That's right, maybe, yeah.
I
have a couple of Americans. Tim Ream's American as well.
Yeah, the centre-back.
Yeah.
Who was the ginger one at Norwich? Sargent or something? Josh Sargent. Do you remember him?
Yeah, I think he's still there as well.
Impressed by him. Anyway, less about Americans in the Premier League. Stefan, what do you reckon to Anthony Robinson?
I've watched him a few times this season. He has been impressive. It's kind of just what everyone else has been saying. He's very athletic, very quick. He's got a good engine on him. He will get up and down that flank. As you've noticed, he has a good carry of the ball as well. So he'll be an issue there. I think sometimes we have struggled this season with fullbacks that are bombing on from the opposition. I think against Villa, Moreno caused us quite a few problems. So it's going to be something to watch out for in this match. And he'll be starting a lot of those runs from deep. So it's about how we pick him up. Will it be Garnacho picking him up? Will it be one of the midfielders coming across to that side? Or will it be Dallo having to deal with that? Should Willian play more centrally like he does sometimes do? So it's going to be an interesting one to see how we deal with him in this match. But yeah, look, he's caught my eye for Fulham. A couple of their players look pretty decent. I think Adarabioyo's another one who looks quite calm and composed on the ball for a centre-back. He's actually got a contract at the end of the season. Could be one we look at if we end up losing 3 or 4 centre-backs maybe. But yeah, I think Robinson's definitely a decent player.
Cool. All right. Well, I was going to say that I've always quite liked these two players for Fulham, but we're running out of time. Do you know who they are, Amondo? You know the one on the right.
Yeah, it's a Koch's nephew. That's what I'm forgetting there. And obviously, this is the guy from Rangers, went to Ajax as well to play Champions League football, and has come back. And he's had a good journey through the leagues. He got rejected. One of these guys got rejected by a lot of clubs, but he's a big, strong centre back now. And he's got his. I think what showcased him was Rangers when they went on that run to the final, lower champion in the Europa League or whatever, or the Conference League, whatever it was. Must be the Conference League. And then obviously
the Europa League.
It was Europa League. And when a German side, Frankfurt, did they beat them in the final? Maybe, I don't know.
No, they lost on penalties.
Okay, it was Bassi, and then I can't think of Koch's nephews, ex-Arsenal, ex-Everton. But you've been very impressed with him, haven't you?
I've always liked him. Like Stefan, help Monday out with who that is on the right.
Yeah, it's Alex Iwobi.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good player.
I've always
I actually kind of like him in central areas more than on the wing as well, to be fair.
Yeah. Good shout.
Yeah, he's always impressed me. He's quite strong and athletic. I think Everton would have kept on to him if they hadn't have FFP issues. And Calvin Bassey is a left-footed centre-back that has played in Holland. So I think you need to watch out for him being linked to United.
Good one.
All right. Okay. Left back time.
Woo!
All right. First of all, Stefan, do you know much about the academy players?
I do, yes. Are we going to be talking about Amaz here?
I mean, he's 16, but he's training with the first team. I mean, is it possible that he could even be in the squad?
I think so. I mean, we do have a chronic lack of options at left back, really badly mismanaged. Obviously, Reguilon's loan cut short, Malacia injured, Luke Shaw injured, Fernandez sent back out on loan to Benfica. I mean, I think we could I've been impressed with how he's played this season. He is actually, I think I looked it up maybe like a couple of weeks ago. He's like 5'10" or 5'11", so he does have a bit of size on him for a fullback. And I have seen a couple of people who would know the academy online saying that he is a pretty physical player. He could have made his debut for Watford at 15 if he had stayed there, but not to be there, of course. But I'm not too sure this is going to be too much too soon for him. I think there's a very good player in there, but he is only 16, like you've said. So it might be one of the other two guys, or we could see Kambuala at right back and Dello at left back, maybe.
Kambuala at right back. I hadn't considered that. Omondi, this 16-year-old, there's quite a lot of hype for him. I personally think it would be ridiculous to stick him in. What are your thoughts?
Right, song. I'm 16 with a bullet. Got my finger on the trigger. I'm gonna pull it. Top tune. Remember that from the 70s? Yeah, man. I've seen him play in the academy. I mean, Stefan, you know your stuff, bruv. He is big guy. He's solid. Look at his legs. Just look at the physicality there. That's a 16-year-old lad. Look at his legs. All right, this is a solid guy. So if he's training the first team, that suggests to me that he's going to be in contention. And I wouldn't be surprised. I don't see. You're saying about age and it's be suicide to throw him in. I don't see a problem with it, man. One player, look, if his system's good, you can take out a player, put in a weaker player now and then, and they can just work in and blend in, like a duck to water. So I'd be shocked, but I would also be delighted if he came in. It's a great opportunity. We don't know his character. We don't know how he is. He could be training in the first team and badding it up and looking really good. So if he's in contention by playing in the first team or training in the first team, that's a good sign. And let's see what happens. It'd be a major surprise if he does, but it would make the game even more enjoyable if he does start. Don't be surprised, because remember, Kobe Mainu, and we've got Garnacho as well in there as well. This is something that we should start getting used to.
Wow. Well, I'll look at some of the comments before we talk about the merits of Lindelof and your man, the pony. And maybe Stefan can give us some other options for left back. We've got Double A, who's correctly identifying Calvin Bassey as Calvin Bassey, and DK Wilson didn't even know that they had Iwobi. But right, we deserve better is along my line of thinking, where you play Dello left back and Lindelof right back. I'd actually have it the other way round. I think you lose a lot if you put Dello at left back. We've got the Shetland pony. He's played left back, DK Wilson. Right, who is Pete Wingfield?
He sang, I'm 16 with a bullet, I've got my finger on the trigger, gonna pull it.
Okay. And look who it is. We haven't seen her for some time, but it's Stephanie Griffiths. How are you, Steph? I hope you're really well. And we've got 17 likes, which is great. Right, boys. Who are we playing at left back? Stefan, who are you going to play?
Man, I'm torn up because I was like pretty dead set in just saying Dallo at left back and Kambuala at right back, but like you're right that we lose a lot in possession. So do we sacrifice the system to put a player in? I guess this is what Ten Hag's paid a lot of money to decide. But I don't know, man, because I don't like Lindelof there. I don't like Amrabat there. I'm not sure if it's Ama's time yet. I think I'll go Dallo and I think I'll go Kambuala, but it's a very reluctant decision.
He seemed, from what I've seen of Kambuala, he's quite good at committing men with a football before he passes. Like he gets it out of his feet and he's quite aggressive. But to be honest, I could like Omondi. Have I left someone out? Could Johnny Evans possibly be considered at left back? Could there be a system change?
Our other Irish man, Pat, he mentioned that yesterday, didn't he? He said Johnny Evans, see him. Because he thinks Johnny Evans, I imagine, has got a better left foot. But I don't think, if you're playing that to those sort of areas, is Johnny Evans as quick as Lindelof? I'm not sure. It's a really tough one, isn't it? And we've got to consider this with Luke Shaw being out for the rest of the season. It's going to be a dilemma. So we just have to go with what is the best option. And hopefully these guys don't get injured. We play this once a week. I don't know. I really don't know. I think the manager will play Lindelof because there's a pecking order, isn't there? I haven't gone on to the Shetland pony yet. That was tried out. We trialed that, didn't we, early in the season, of him playing left back. And I'm not sure if it was a success. I don't know what you guys think, whether it was a success or not. But Lindelof at the moment seems to be the guy that's coming in. When Luke Shaw got injured the other day, he came in at left back. So I think in the manager's thinking, that's the priority. He would be the priority player to play there. And if that doesn't go well, then you have to look at other options.
I tend to agree with you. We'll have a look what the comments are saying. We deserve better, saying Lindelof has played right back before. The most notable example was Atletico Madrid away with Rangnick, and I remember getting extremely annoyed with him that he was playing on the same line as, I think it was Sancho in that match, which is really poor play from the fullback. Steph is going for Amrabat right back and Delo left back. We said better, neither are quick. They will target the wings. But we just have to sit a bit deeper if we lack pace in wide areas and move up the team as a unit. But I think, Amonde, you've made a very good point, which is that from the sort of hierarchy we've seen, Lindelof both times has come in to replace Shaw at left back. I know a lot of people thought that he played really poorly in both games he came on. I personally felt he did all right in his defensive stuff. It was more on the ball that was the big issue. And hopefully, with a week of training, maybe Ten Hag's got a plan around that. Someone dropping deeper, support angles. We might see Kobe switch across more to the left-hand side to receive those right-footed balls. But yeah, unless Stefan, you have anything more to add on this left back conundrum?
The only thing I would add would be there's a lot of there's a vocal minority of people I've noticed have been calling for Anthony at left back because he's left-footed, but not for me. Not for me. No,
no. Sorry, there's a conspiracy channel with fat old men you can go and watch talk about stuff like that. I'm not talking about Anthony at left back. Right, Amonde.
Yeah, I think we're going to soon find out, and we just have to get used to it. We might not like it for the remainder of the season. Might be a bit of vulnerability there, but it's something you have to deal with.
All right, so we're going to finish up with we're not actually. So here are some predictions, but before we get to the predictions, it's time for the solo 11, and the big talking point here is it's Lindelof at left back for solo and an unchanged team from Luton. We'll start with you, Stefan. I personally think this is the team. Would you be happy with this team, or do you have any changes?
I'm pretty happy with that. I think Onana will start in goal. I think centre back wise we're very limited. So it will be Maguire, it will be Varane. Left back's a big question. I can't see the midfield changing. He doesn't tend to change it when it's won the previous match, and obviously we've won quite a few consecutive matches. So he'll make minimal changes, if any. So I think it's just going to be the left back area. So that for me will be the rest of the team.
Amonde, do you think that there's any sort of like what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say Johnny Evans played really, really well in the second half against Luton. Do you think he's in contention to start in the back four?
Yeah, because like Stefan said, there's not many options there. So I think he's going to be on the bench for sure. Not for sure. Shaw's injured, but for sure, definitely he's going to be on the bench. I just think that Lindelof playing in that position, there's an opportunity for him. There's an opportunity for him. So stay sharp, Evans, because we might need you. And I think he's been a fantastic signing this year because every time he's come in, he's represented, he's been communicating really well, defended really well with his head, and even on attacking set pieces, he looks dangerous. So, and his distribution, I'm really surprised by how good he is with his left foot and his passing.
Yeah,
been a couple of assists, haven't we? Not diagonal, straight balls. To hit a straight ball, long straight ball pass and get an assist, that's something. I always say hit it at an angle or a diagonal angle or something, but he's hit a couple of straight balls with a little bit of backspin. He's a talented player. Fair play to him. But saying that, I understand why we sold him many years ago. I was watching a game the other day. I can't remember who it was. It was in the Champions League, and the pitch how it ended, freeze framed, was with him like No, it's Ronaldo. It was Juventus, I think it was. And Ronaldo maybe jumping for a header, and Evans was just watching like that. And I remember thinking, he's SHIT, whatever, but he's not. And I've got more appreciation for him now as a player since he's come back. The other only talking point for me would be the midfield. You've suggested this so many times because you're a big endorser of McTominay and whether he deserves a start instead of not the youngster, but the old boy who I don't know what Stefan thinks, but Casemiro out of that side, what's what I like right now is that the side more or less picks itself. But the only talking points or question marks would be the left back, obviously Shaw's out. But Casemiro is under a bit of pressure, I think, from McTominay, based on what he's scoring goals, based on his energy, based on the respect that he's getting, and based on Casemiro's sort of yellow card risk, poor performance, going to ground too easily. That's a question mark for me. I don't know what you think about that, Dev.
No, I would agree totally with you, OMONDI. I think watching Casemiro this season, there's been times it looks like he struggles with the athleticism of what's needed to play in that role. I think he's overexposed, so I don't think that helps, but I don't think his athleticism is where it was even last season. I think in terms of what he's doing on the ball sometimes as well, there's question marks. A lot of it seems to be very risky passes. It's not the type of passes you want your number 6 to be playing. It's really preventing us from controlling a lot of games. And even the way he receives the ball sometimes as well doesn't get on the half turn at all. So I've question marks about his long-term suitability. I think we'll stick with it because Ten Hag doesn't tend to change things when he thinks it's going in the right direction. And I'm positive he will have looked at it and said, look, we're unbeaten in 2024. We've won the last couple of matches. We're in good form. I'm just going to keep it as simple as it can. And with a week between matches, I think he can do that. Obviously, no midweek, so that gives everyone a rest. And I think it'll just be the left back, the only change for this one, unless Casemiro goes out and gets a suspension in this match, which the way he's been playing, it could be possible.
Yeah, I agree. I'd also like to see us really put Fulham to the sword so that we can get Hojlund off the pitch by 65 or 70 minutes. He has to do a huge amount of defensive work, and I feel we're beginning to run him into the ground a little with the system that we're playing. And I think that McTominay helps him a lot with his defensive duties as well when he goes up next to him. But yeah, I think you made some really good points there, Stefan. We know what Ten Hag is like. He will try and tell you that winter is summer, as often as possible, and any excuse to put the same team out, he'll take. And we'll just have a quick look at the comments. Malacia back in March. Believe it when I see it, to be honest. Look at this. We Deserve Better looks at the squad and thinks we're mediocre, but at least we're transitioning to something. I think we've got a lot of good players out on that pitch there. Myself, I think Delo's been really good this year. I'd like to see Johnny Evans in the team. I think he's been our best left back. Kobe Mainoo's got to be one of the great talents in world football. Rasmus is good. Garnacho's produced lots of good moments this year. I think we've got enough for Fulham. Right. I want score predictions, boys, and you can add any extras that you want. So score, goals, who plays left back, who's getting subs at 45 minutes, and Casemiro's yellow and red cards. What time are they coming?
All right, I'll start on this one. Look, as you know, I used to bet and make a lot of money, but I see a lot of bets. This is in the olden days, but a lot of bets these days are like, how many corners will there be? Who's going to get the first yellow card? And I see some of these bets that when we turn up at football on Sunday, all these guys show me their betting card and everything. I'm saying, oh, you won some money, but what's this bet? Oh, yeah, we had to have 3 corners in this first half, or we had to have when was the first throw in? And I'm thinking, what the hell is this? How can you predict this? Just go for the goal. It's got 3 results: a draw, a home win, or away win. I'm going for a home win. I'm going for 2-0, 2 goals. I think the first goal scorer, this is the most I would do. The first goal scorer is likely to be the main man right now, who's on a hot streak, and it could be number 7 in a row, which would be up there with the best. There's not many players have done that in the Premier League. And left back situation was just discussed. I think it's unanimous. We went for Lindelof. The subs, which is really important. You made a great point in there about resting players, especially key players where we don't have much backup, like Hojlund. It would be lovely, like you say, to get him off. I was just thinking who would come on. Maybe Forson. I've seen him come on in that position recently. And the yellow card situation, which was raised by Stefan. Yes, there's only one man who's in contention for that. And it's Casemiro. If I was a betting man, I would say he's definitely going to get booked again.
Amondi's just made me think of something, Stefan, which is that as we're sort of kind of looking at a sort of what we would like to see as a comfortable home win, do you think the team are going to be concerned with getting Rasmus his record, like trying to get things on a plate for him?
I mean, we haven't put things on a plate for the guy all season long, so I'd be surprised if we started now. But I think I've always been a believer of the less you try to force it, the more likely it's going to be to happen. So I think if we just play our game, play it simply, he'll probably get the opportunities he's been making for himself in the last couple of matches. I think just to run through that really quickly, if I was to go for it, I'm going to go for a 3-1. I think we'll definitely concede.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've conceded in like 5 of the last 6 or something. So 3-1. I think Hojlund scores. I think Garnacho likes a goal against Fulham, and I think Bruno. Left back, I think we're unanimous. It's Victor Lindelof. 45 minutes subs. I wouldn't mind seeing Garnacho come off because I look at it. You've got a 19-year-old lad there. He started the last 21 matches. It's a lot of football. And I think you've got Amad Diallo on the bench who you can bring on and just put him on the right-hand side. And then Casemiro, yellow card, that's guaranteed.
Guaranteed. I think Diallo might be a conversation for another day. He's sort of like turning into a bit of a Donny van de Beek these days. But we're just going to finish off with some quick comments. Is there tomorrow, Monday? Do we know what we're doing? Is there a takeaway?
Well, there's one last week, wasn't there? So I don't know if it's a fortnightly thing these days, but we'll definitely let you know as soon as possible, guys, who are tuning in. There'll definitely be a show for sure, whether it's at 8:30, 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock with a takeaway, but we will be putting something out for sure.
Okay. Well, we deserve better. Look at this. He's saying that it's 4-1 with 2 from Rasmus and one apiece from Rashford and Garnacho. Bruno's going to get a hat-trick of assists. Left back, he thinks Delo. Subs coming on at 64 minutes. Casemiro, yellow card at 87 minutes.
2001.
That specificity. Pop a pound on that. We deserve better. DK Wilson saying these are proper bets on Monday. Big odds. People bet a little to win a lot. Usually easy bank for the sporting books. What's Steph saying? 4-2. Okay, so conceding 2 goals. Rasmus, another brace. Left back will be Delo. McTominay, a super sub goal. And Casemiro, a yellow only. I love that no one has said Casemiro isn't going to get booked. We've just all accepted he gets a yellow. 4-1 to United. Time to convert to the chances. Rasmus, Rashford, Garnacho, and McT. That would be beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I had an emergency slide which was talking about Wayne Rooney on the overlap, but we've done an hour and 15 minutes, so we don't need any filler. Thank you so much to my guests for joining me, and for you, the guys in chat who come and spend your time with us. It's really, really appreciated, and we always try and do a good job for you. So text or message Jeff with suggestions. It's exactly what he needs at the moment. And Stefan, where can we find you?
Yes, of course, guys. You can find me just as the little yellow thing here, the little tag, United Philosophy on YouTube. I've been a little bit inactive this week. Just had a very, very busy week, but we're back to regular scheduled content, back to being professional and getting things done. So if you do want to join me there, I'll be on tomorrow. I'll be on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We'll have some videos dropping as well very soon. So would really appreciate everyone coming over if you can. Good to see some regulars on here as well. And thanks very much for having me on the show, guys.
Always a pleasure. Omondi, is it time to reveal our new career as Sunday League troubleshooters?
Something like that, yeah. I'm going to finish off watching the remainder of the game over the next. I'm off tomorrow, so I might watch the remainder of the game tomorrow and get back to you with more feedback. I don't know, because I felt a bit like I let you down because I watched 15 minutes. It was enough to really say something, but I was a bit surprised because I'm saying to myself, I need to get fit and get out there and show them boys a thing or two because I think I'm better than some of these guys that are playing out there. But fair enough. Yeah, that's you know, Stefan, I don't know if you only get these big totem poles, cameras now on Sunday League, and most teams have them now where you can view the whole game and it follows the ball. It's fantastic, isn't it? I wish they would have had that in my heyday. It would have been good to watch it back because after a game, I go back and I think I have to remember everything in my head. So I'd be laying in the bar thinking, oh, yes, I did this or this happened, whatever. But when you've got video evidence like that they have these days, it's fantastic. So we're just analysing a friend of ours again, and Bath Time's going to give some feedback to the team to show them give them a few pointers, maybe,
Yeah, would anyone be interested on seeing that on the channel in the comments? It's like, I don't know where they are on the ladder, but I think it's senior football. They're all perfectly competent on the ball. Terrible team organisation, lots of long balls. It's real Sunday League stuff.
Did you see the fight early on? Did you see the argument that went on for about 5-10 minutes?
Yeah, it's just. It's absolute. It's just typical Sunday League stuff, and so me and Omondi are going to be giving some feedback and suggestions to Brice based on that, and maybe it's something that we might incorporate into the show. But anyway, with no further ado, we're all going to give you a good night, and please, everyone, go and subscribe to Stefan, and we will see you tomorrow night.